Good evening, good afternoon, and good night to wherever you are. It's time for the Podium tier, round 8 at Austria. I am Adrenaline, or you can call me James, and I am really excited to be commentating for tonight's 1UP Racing. 1UP Racing is brought to you by Elite Racing Team, 3M Sim Racing, Next Level Racing Community, and of course by our premium paid drivers. I apologize for starting the stream rather late due to some technical difficulties, but I'm sure that will not stop a great night of action. We're currently on board with Rich 500, who's currently on the set of soft compound tyres and is heading his way up into Sector 1. So purple Sector 1 from Rich, fastest out of anybody now. And he makes his way into turn 4, a very tricky, tough downhill section of the track. And he gets it lined up correctly. Coming into these next sections of corners, he's going to cross Sector 2, Sector 3 line. It's only a personal best, 0.038 of a second faster. Comes into turn 9, very tricky downhill, can easily lose the car and invalidate, which he does in fact, as he will now have to try and redo a lap. The question is, will he be able to, or has the game decided he won't be able to? He will. So I assume he's on for another lap now as the rear starts to slide. DRS wide open, he's lost a lot of ERS from that previous lap. The question is, where can he start into? He's up on this, he is a bit down on his time. As the rear starts to slide, as you can see, having to put a weird steering lock to keep the car going straight now. Coming in to turn 4, tough, tricky braking point, you've got to get it right. And the exit was compromised a bit there, but take it as close as you can to the inside. Coming through into Sector 3 now, he's up by just 4 thousandths of a second. It's not much, but will he back off this lap? He comes into turn 9 and 10, very tough. This time he keeps it within track limits, and it will be able to be put as a lap time. What will it be? It'll be an improvement to a 104.245. So it's an improvement, but probably not the improvement Rich was looking to get. What about Keys? Keys is on the medium compound tyre. He has invalidated. He's looking to box power slides. Mr. Pitlow. Who else is on the lap? NLR Willow takes it down into turn 4, gets a good exit, and surprisingly hasn't invalidated after going on the curbs. What is his lap time? He's up by 0.2 of a second now, sliding that Aston Martin out as Salty Bear has retired. So I wonder if that was an on-track retirement or a deliberate one. But NRL Willow looking to take a fast lap. As you can see, the Mercedes of Salty Bear as Willow goes to P4 right next to his teammate with a 104.3. So a big improvement for him. But Salty Bear's car remaining in the middle of the pit straight. But it does seem that it has despawned and the drivers can get back on the racing speed. Keanu looking comfortable. P2, he's gone out on a set of softs. Got a car ahead, hopefully doesn't cause any dirty air. What will his sector be? He's 0.2 down off his lap. So I wonder if he is on an in lap. And he seems to be staying out. Hoping to get a tow from the car ahead, who I believe is KPP. As he's invalidated, and he's invalidated this lap as well. So no further improvement, and has invalidated. But if you are joining us now, the gap 0.007 seconds. P1 to P2 as he lets his teammate Cavudi on his lap. What can Cavudi do? DRS wide open. It's a tricky corner, turn 3. If you get it right, it will give you a big boost into turn 4. Downhill, use a lot of the curb to get a wide line to swoop in. The rear stepping out, but it keeps it under control. Take curb to slide it in. And hit the sector 2 mark. He has not set a lap yet, but he's invalidated as he's touched the curb. He's got time though to do another lap. But will he box for a new fresh set of softs? And he will in fact box as he slides into the pit lane and loses his front wing. Not the best strategy to do. But what about Cam? Cam sitting in a unusual spot, P12. What can he do on this lap? He's had some personal best, nearly invalidate, but he doesn't. He's in P12 and he jumps to P11. A bit of an improvement, but still not as much as Cam would have liked. As Jordan pops into P13 on the medium compound tyre. Other people on a lap. Got KPP. Is he on an in lap? And it seems to me he is in fact. What about Apex Road? Apex Road seems to be down and onto the grass. And that's definitely not going to be an improvement. So I would expect that he will be coming in for a new fresh set of softs for his final run. We've got just under 4 minutes to go in qualifying. So cutting that pit lane entry line. But who else is on the lap? Not many drivers are on the lap, and in fact Jordan has boxed all of our drivers currently in the pits, except our pole position man at the stand, Dax. Dax, who's one of our hot drivers coming into this race. Of course, he is on a really good time in the season. He's had very successful races previously. Of course, wanting to jump up even more in the standings. The majority of the field are currently in the box. Quick time to go over our standings. So Cam K in P1 with Speed Redmat in P2. BRT Thomas following him with Kian, Rich, Vintino, Dax in P7 with Keys in P8, Apex Rogue P9, Jordan P10, Tech 31 with Tom Hoffner, and then Cafudi, Aero Specialist, KPP, OK Keep, Salty Bet, NLR Hartley, and NLR Willow finishing the driver's result as we see Dax coming into the pits. Does he believe that medium run he set is good enough? But he's got Kian that's not too far, that could easily take it from him. What about Rich? He's been on these softs for quite a while now. Is he going to do a late pit stop? Not sure if he'd get out in time. Surely he wouldn't. And the sky's getting a little bit more cloudier. Doesn't invalidate. Takes a really sharp line now. Where will it put him? It will put him on pole position. A 104.090. A great lap from him. And Dax made that decision to stay out on the medium compound tyre. It could look like a better strategy for the race, but he's given up pole position. Who else is on a lap now? Kong Hoffner setting personal best. How much is he up through sector 2? He's down by 100 of a second. Still chance to improve. As we got yellow flag sector 2 and sector 3, people trying to get out of the way, and he goes off and he has to pit. And he knows he's not going to improve his lap now. BRT Thomas is more than a tenth up on his time. the midfield very close together. A single tenth can make a huge difference as Keys has got 5 grid place penalty as Keys takes the fast snap. A 104.060. Incredible. Keys is on pole, but he's got a 5 place grid penalty. But can the RT Thomas steal it away from him, keeps it within track limits? And where will he finish? He'll get on pole for 103.977. A great lap from Thomas. But this is going to truly hurt Keys with a 5 place grid penalty for his race. Meaning, as it stands, he will be starting P7. But who else is on the lap? What about Kian? As Apex Rogue takes pole position, a 103.967. The times are tumbling down. A Speed Red Map takes pole position, 103.8. This is insane. It's anyone's pole position at this time. What can Kian do? Is Kian up in this time? He is, but only just under 100 of a second. He's got 2 fast corners to go. It could make the difference, but he's not close enough to pole as it stands. What can he do? He's coming to the line now, and it's good enough for P4, a 104.054. But Speed Red Mat on pole position, on provisional pole, as I say, as many drivers still could be doing a lap, as we've got Dax, who's actually 4/10 off of his fastest time, which was on the medium, so he's not going to improve. What can he do now? He's got 2 corners to go. Into the final corner, doesn't invalidate. What's he going to be? It's good enough, and it's not an improvement. Dax is starting in P7. Speed Red Mat is on pole position. Volkaki not saying a lap, same for Aero Specialist. And of course, a Salty Bear, we saw him lose the back of that Mercedes into the final corner. So Speed Red Mat will be starting in the front row alongside Apex Rogue. But an interesting thing to spot out is Keys does have a 5 place grid penalty, meaning he will be starting in P10. So disappointing for him. Cam as well, P13, not an improvement that he would have wanted. Definitely has more pace than Nat Williams, but unfortunately has not translated into this qualifying session. But of course, the race and qualifying are 2 completely different things, so it still is possible to get a good points result. As we just wait for this session to finish, we've got 42 seconds to go. And now all our drivers have finished. And we are on board with Cam into the final corners. So, it's not an unusual thing for Speed Red Map, but he is on pole again. He takes the top of the charts with a 103.869. Great lap from him. With Apex Rogue following behind, not too far off. ERT Thomas with Kian in the second row. Keys P5, but will drop back with a 5 place grid penalty. He's got Rich alongside him. Dax in P7, KPP in P8. He's got Willow in P9 with Kong Offner P10. Vintino in P11 with ERT Jordan. Cam K P13 with Kafudi P14. Salty Bear P15 with Aero Specialist and Okaki in P16 and P17, who have not set a time. So as we go into this race session, a few things to note about the amazing Austria and the Spielberg and the Red Bull Racing Ring circuit. Very tricky to keep your car within the track. Track limits is a thing to look out for, especially the fast corners, turn 1, turn 9 and turn 10. But I'm sure many of our drivers have known that for a while now, as we just wait to get loaded into this session. So as mentioned, if you're joining us now, our hot driver was Dax, but unfortunately he's a result that is not really resulting what he can do, but I'm sure he can get a few more places in the race. It's a long race to go. 36 laps at Austria. And our co-driver is NLR Harley. Of course, he has not scored any points this season, so a good points finish is something he is on the lookout. So, Speed Red Map leads the field away on this formation lap. Predicted strategy, of course, is an easy one-stopper, but here at One Hub Racing is a mandatory 2 pit stopper race. So soft, medium, soft is definitely an option, but of course safety cars and VSCs can make a huge impact on the race. As we see Okeki having a slow getaway. That doesn't stop Speed Red Map from leading the field. Weather is very cloudy. Of course, rain is on the lookout, especially at Austria. Temperature and the weather can change so quickly. And within laps, we can go from a dry condition to a completely wet one. So your tyre starters for the Austrian Grand Prix. Speed Red Map all the way to P5 of Rich, currently on the soft compound tyre, with Dax in P6. How well is that medium going to work in the long run? He's got KPP behind with softs all the way to Kieves, P10 with that 5-place grid penalty. They're all on the soft. From P11 down to P14, all on fresh mediums. Of course, they've got the free tyre choice of A Salty Bear at P15, taking a risky gamble going on the softs. And then P16 and P17, Aero Specialist and Okeki, both on the medium compound tyre. As now, we are waiting to get the field all queued up in their grid position. It's a thrilling race around Austria, fast corners, and there's lots of straights and lots of overtaking opportunities. And we'll have 36 laps of non-stop action. And it will start with Speed Red Map in the pole position, with Apex Road right alongside him. So the lights are going on, and it's lights out, and away we go for the podium tier. One Up Racing. One of the Hasses struggling in the background for grip, but Apex Rogue struggling from ERT Thomas. That goes wide, and the Haas goes wide with a Mercedes in the background, losing out big time. Lots of cars shuffling around now, but it seems to be like everyone's gone through turn 1 okay. On board with ERT Thomas, it goes into the back of Kiana. It's got Dax right alongside him. Dax fighting it out against Thomas, but does Thomas have a little bit of damage from that contact with Kian side by side into turn 4? They go. Dax loses a bit of the rear, but stays ahead. And look at this, Willow alongside him and ahead of ERT Thomas, and is now on the back of Dax. Dax made a brilliant start and is up into P4. This is crucial for the race now, as DRS train is likely to form. As you can see, desperately, Willow trying to get temperature in those tyres. What's going on to the back of the field? There's a car going in the pits. Is that Jordan? No, it's not. It's Thomas. Thomas is in the pits. Is that damage? KPP is out of the race. Is that going to cause a safety car? It's going to cause a virtual safety car. KPP lost it on the final corner, and he is out of the Austrian Grand Prix. As we see Thomas taking that nose change, clearly damage at the front of his car. But it is Speed Red Map who still has the lead. We've seen Speed Red Map many times under the rear seat and safety car restarts lead the field away. He's going to have to do it again tonight. But your change in positions, quite a few shuffles, especially in the midfield of the track. So Rich definitely losing out one place can hurt, but Thomas really taking a big hit with that nose change. It's dropped back to the end of the field of the running order. But he has taken a pit stop, so he does have only one stop to do in this race when the others do have 2 stops. But when can we see people start to take that pit stop, as we see 2 people from off the end? I believe Salty Bear, just a lot of shuffling in the grid, have built box, but look at this. This is causing chaos for Salty Bear. This was not timed right, because Salty Bear, now as we go on the green flag, Salty Bear only gets to change his wing now and is in the pit. Thomas is going to be well ahead, and he is. Not good calculations from Mercedes, as Salty Bear has lost out, but as well gone off and pitted when that VSC just about ended. But Apex Rogue struggling on those rears of the Ferrari. And he's looking inside, but you can see Speed Red Mat pulling away already. It's crucial to break that toe as soon as you can. Of course, DRS is not enabled, but it will be as soon as Speed Red Mat crosses the line this lap. He's trying to break out of that 1 second. But Speed Red Mat has already inherited the lead, I should say, as Willow takes the fastest lap, a 1:08.3, as we see someone dropping to the field. Is that Keys? It is, in fact, Keys. He's out, he's spun. We see Jordan in the pits. Very unusual one. We see Keys lose the front wing. Keys is driving with our front wing and has crashed on purpose. Is that going to cause a safety car? It is. So this is horrible timing for the Alpine crew, because they both pitted under safety cars at the end of them or at the beginning, and now they are running at the very bottom. And the thing is, if the front runners do pit, they should still be ahead of the 2 Alpines. But safety car is caused from that collision into the barrier with Keys. That is his race done. Question is now, will we see the front runners box? As Speed Red Mat already makes that early decision that he will be pitting in. What about Rogue? Rogue takes a very wide line, but he will be pitting. Kian following him. What about Willow? Willow stays out. Of course, we need to see the tyres that people have got. The medium runners are supposed to stay out at least until lap 15 around. But a lot of the medium compound tyres are being put onto the soft runners. There's a big shuffle of the grid, as Willow nearly overtakes the safety car going into turn 3. But it's not the first time we've seen Willow trying to get temperature in those soft compound tyres. The temperature is a lot colder than what it usually is. So if you're joining us now, it's lap 5 and we have already gone our first safety car. We had a VSC 2 laps ago, but NLR Willow has inherited the lead. Of course, he has not pitted yet. All of our top 5 runners have not pitted, and you have to do a 2 pit stop. You have to do a 2 pit stop strategy with One Hub Racing. But NLR Willow leads the Grand Prix from Cavudi. Vintino P3, OK Key and Aero Specialist P4 and P5. Speed Red Mat should inherit the lead once the top 5 have pitted. He is currently sitting in P6. Apex Rogue P7 with Kian in P8. Dax in P9 with Cam in P10. Going off in at P11 with Rich in P12. ERT Thomas and ERT Jordan, both of the Alpines, running in P13 and P14. The last of the finishing order is P15 of A Salty Bear. Unfortunately, they did not time their pit stops right, as this double stack did not work. They were too close to each other. It costed Salty Bear a huge chunk of time. Of course, he is now at the back of the field, as we see Cavudi aggressively going into turn 1 under the safety car conditions. This isn't the first time we've seen drivers struggling for temperature under the safety car. It's a usual thing, especially for the medium and the hard runners. So all of the field has caught up to the safety car. Safety car should be coming in around a lap or two, as the drivers desperately weave to get temperature into those tyres. But an interesting thing to note is a few drivers have gone for the soft compound tyre, especially Dax. He did start on the mediums, he's gone for the softs, so expect a huge pace advantage from him as he makes his way up through the field. But NLR Willow has got the job to lead the field. The safety car is coming in this lap, and the pressure is now on. The question is, when does Willow decide to go? As you can see, the field desperately trying to put temperature as we make our way into turn 9. Is this when Willow goes? It is now. Willow goes into the final corner in the lead and begins to resume racing for the One Hub Podium Tier Grand Prix. As Willow is ahead, but look at Kavudi. Kavudi seems to have a pace advantage, although being on the slower tyre. Who's dropping down in the field? Of course, we've got quite a few medium runners battling on track. Aero Specialist just behind and stays behind Red Mat. As you can see, P1 and P2, Willow struggling with the rears of that Aston Martin. He's got Kavudi inside. Kavudi just making sure that Willow can see him in his wing mirrors, but you can see how much later Kavudi is stopping into the corner. Kavudi has got a lot more confidence than Willow. Willow and Kavudi, though, yet to stop. A few people have made up places, though, especially Dax. Was P8, it was P9, is now P8. A big group of cars reshuffling. Speed Red Matters, of course, should inherit the lead when these people start to pit. Is he going to get logged to pit? Has to back off, of course. The Ferrari pitting, of course, goes way off the pit line. But he's weaving to break up that toe because he's got Apex Rogue right behind him now. What about the battle for the lead? Has Willow got enough of a delta to be safe into turn 3? Yes, he has. Kavudi not going to make a risky lunge, but he does break a lot later. What about Speed Red Mat? Speed Red Mat just stays ahead of Rogue. He's got his teammate Vintino in front of him. Vintino on a significantly older tyre set. I wonder if Vintino is going to let Speed Red Mat through. It would be probably the wise decision. There is a big difference in tyre performance. But what else is going on to the back of the field? Lots of drivers just keeping their gaps to each other. You lose a ton of downforces. I think Willow's out. Willow's out. We've lost Willow. Is this going to cause a safety car? Willow is out. Your leader on lap 8 is out of the Grand Prix, and I believe he's lost it out of turn 8. But that is it. No safety car, no BSC. Willow is out. And the closest battle on track right now is between the two AlphaTauri teammates. That should be an easy pass. Speed Red Mat goes on the outside and will have clear air now to charge to Kavudi. But Vintino has got the Ferrari of Apex Rogue right behind him. Rogue sent one up the inside. Was that lunge he needed to make? Maybe not, but he's made it, and he's made it stuck. An amazing move from Rogue. P3, and that is crucial for the fight that he has with Vintino's teammate Speed Red Mat. The Speed Red Mat closes into Kavudi. Of course, there is a significant tyre difference. They're both on mediums, but the difference is 5 laps. Speed Red Mat on fresher tyres, as you can clearly see. But this is the charge now for P1. ERT Thomas takes the fastest lap of a 106.283. That will surely come down as we enter further into the stage. The race is at Cam. What's happened to Cam? He has spun on turn 1, and it's damage, as you can see, of a Mercedes. I wonder if that's also Kong Hoffner. Yes, it is. Kong Hoffner and Cam have made contact into turn 1, but you can see the debris from Kong Hoffner. He's gonna have to limp home here. As you can see, he's struggling now. Okay, he is far back, but he will be ahead of Colin Hoffner, because Colin Hoffner has to pit because he's got no front wing. What about Cam? Cam looks to have his front wing intact. He's got a slight bit of damage, but of course that can be bodywork. But Cam looks to be fine to run to the end of the stint. What about towards the front? He's got Speed Redmat right behind Kavudi, but Apex Rogue really charging on Redmat. That's okay, he picks up a 3-second time penalty from track limit now. We enter turn 1. A three-way battle for the league. Of course, we can't count out any of the drivers close behind, but it looks to be these three who are fighting. Of course, tyre strategies is going to play a big role as we go later into this race. Apex Rogue struggles for his traction out of turn 3. It's a very tricky one, you've got to get it right. But Speed Redmat looks to still be too far back off Kavudi to send one. As you can see, Rogue really having no grip on these rear compound tyres. But Kavudi surprisingly has enough straight line speed to stay ahead of Redmat, despite Redmat having DRS and being in that slipstream. He's got a yellow flag. Is that Dax? Is that Dax? It is in fact Dax. Dax has lost it. He's got damage on his wing, no visible damage, but he's dropped back. Definitely one of the favourites going into this race, especially on that soft compound tyre compared to the older and slower mediums. But he's dropped back into P12 on lap 12. But your leader for this Grand Prix, Kavudi, still enough. You can see Redmat really trying to brake as late as he can, but this is causing a key issue here. The drivers in P4, P5 and P6 are catching the front runners. So Apex Rogue definitely going to be under a lot of pressure as Kian is catching up to him. This could be all strategies with Kavudi and Kian. Can Kian catch up to the back of Rogue before Kavudi loses, or if he does lose P1 to Speed Redmat, as he is right on the back of him now. It's very tough to stay within the car ahead. You lose so much downforce into turn 9 and 10. Speed Redmat looking to try and close that gap. He just hasn't seemed to have good enough straight line speed, seeming to have more of a downforce, higher downforce setup, as you can see how late Rogue is stopping. But is this the time that Speed Redmat sends it into turn 3? He's a lot closer. Is it close enough? Is there a lunge he has to make? He's made the lunge. Does it stick? It sticks for now, but Kavudi getting better traction on Speed Redmat. Side by side now. Who's going to brake later into turn 4? Speed Redmat has got it covered and leads the race once again. Kavudi tried to hold him up as much as he could. He's been holding him up for a few corners now, but unfortunately he's lost out, and now he's got Apex Rogue right on the back of him now. As Kavudi's tyres started to drop off, of course they're a lot older than the cars around him, as you can see the rear moving around there, trying to keep it controlled. But now will Kavudi, we know Kavudi's got a much better straight line speed setup. Now will that DRS end toe allow him to stay in P2? Apex Rogue looking to have a very good exit. Of course, it's Kavudi's teammate in P4, not close enough to Rogue. As you can see now, is Kavudi going to send one on Redmat? No, he's not, but Apex Rogue might send one. He doesn't, as you can see, Speed Redmat losing the rear of that car. This is turning out to be a three-way battle for the lead. Who's staying ahead now? Speed Redmat takes the inside line. Kavudi tries to take the outside, doesn't work, but he's going to lose up to Redmat, and he does, as a brake, and Apex Rogue just goes into the back of Kavudi. Is that causing any damage? I don't believe he's got damage, but that's not going to help, as he's got Kian right at the back. Speed Redmat trying to break up that toe. Kavudi having serious straight line speed, especially out of turn 1. See a pit stop from Ventino. Could be going on to set of mediums to go to the end of this Grand Prix. Main question now, can Cavudi take back the lead of the Grand Prix? He's going to send one now. He's got more speed. He sends one, but he's got Apex Rogue right in the back now, side by side. Rogue sliding around. Rogue side by side with Speed Red Matt. Does Rogue have enough speed to be alongside him? He's got a tow from Cavudi as contact. But is this enough for Speed Red Matt to stay ahead? Yes, it is. But this is helping Kian as Kian is coming into this battle, getting an excellent view of the top 3 battling for the lead. But this allows McLaren to pull a lot of different strategies here. But Apex Rogue right on the back of Red Matt. As we got a yellow flag. Is that Thomas? Yes, it is Thomas. Thomas has lost it again out turn 8, sorry. Turn 8 seeming to be very tricky for our drivers tonight. But it is yellow flag conditions, and it is now back to green. Speed Red Matt just behind Cavudi. Cavudi still keeping ahead. Is Speed Red Matt going to send one? Does he need to? He's not going to send one. He goes a little bit wide. Has that cost him to lose out? Yes, it has. It's Apex Rogue nearly alongside him. He's now just behind, but he's going to get an amazing tow into turn 4. What can Cavudi do to break up the tow? What can Red Matt do to break up the tow? Everyone getting a tow except Cavudi, but impressively, Cavudi stays ahead as he gets a penalty as he slides around as he spun. He spun. Cavudi has spun and has dropped back to P4 and might lose out to P5 with Rich. Cavudi struggling. He's on a lot older tyres, but surely this is the dropping point, and surely he needs to pit soon. As you can see, the rears sliding around. The question is for the lead though. Rogue very close to Speed Red Matt as there's a yellow flag waving around. Is that Cavudi again? It is in fact Cavudi. As there's another collision up ahead with Cam and Jordan. What is happening? This has turned into absolute disaster for Cam. But the question is, it's a virtual safety car. Speed Red Matt lives to fight another day. He's got a virtual safety car to help him get through these 2 extremely long straights. But that VSC has been caused by not only Cavudi, but Cavudi did spin in the final corner, causing Jordan and Cam to take evasive action. Cam did spin. The question is, does Cam have damage? He does have some damage on our report, but no visual damage on the front wing. As we've got another yellow flag. It's okay, he's retired. What has happened? So Rogue is going to almost send one down into turn 9, but is that going to be a VSC? We're back under green flag, but sector 1 is being waved as yellow flags. As Okeki's car has been cleared up. As you can see, Rogue desperately trying to get some good clear air from the back of Speed Red Matt. Another yellow flag. Is that Cavudi again? Yes, it is. Cavudi struggling, but what about Rogue? Rogue sending one into turn 3, locks the inside tyre, but side by side again. Speed Red Matt and Rogue battling for the lead. Who's got the faster car? Who's the faster driver as they go side by side into turn 4? Rogue gets a much better launch out of turn 4. This is helping Kian and sees these 2 runners battle, but Speed Red Matt once again stays ahead and defends for his life as we head into turn 9. Tries to break up that toe, but he lives to fight another day. Three-second time penalty has been added to a salty bet for track limits. If you're joining us now, we've had more than like 5 laps of amazing racing between the front 2 runners. As Red Matt had a horrible exit Does that give Rogue the lead? Yes, it does. But how far is Red Matt? In fact, how far is Kian to send one up into turn 3? Has he made it stuck? He has. Kian now is in P2. But is he going to send one? Does he need to make that lunge? Does he have to make that lunge? He's going to make it. Is he going to make it work though? He's got a lot better traction. He is in the lead. We've had an insane shuffle of the grid between these 3 drivers, of course including Kavudi, who unfortunately lost the rear of the car, who's currently in P13. But an insane battle for P1 between Kian, Rogue and Speed Red Matt. As Kian goes very wide now, will Rogue want to make a move? Of course he's going to have a massive toe. He's going to go side by side, but Kian wants to stay ahead. He's got Apex Rogue and Speed Red Matt. But I must say, absolute amazing driving from our drivers here. Insane wheel-to-wheel action, and we haven't had any collisions, which is good so far. This is the type of racing we love to see. Speed Red Matt looks a little bit closer to Rogue than Rogue is to Kian. As we've got a yellow flag, is that Cam again? No, it's Specialist. Aero Specialist gone off again. Turn 8 seeming to be complete chaos for our drivers. We've seen in this corner though, Kavudi lose it. It's very easy to lose it around here. Kian looking to set a bit of a gap between the Apex Rogue. He is still within DRS range, but he is a bit further ahead. Kian looks to struggle through that final corner every lap. Apex Rogue looks to have managed it very well. As Speed Red Matt as well has dropped back a little bit. That's going to ease the pressure on both Kian and Rogue as Kian goes very wide, goes onto the sausage curb. That is just released Rogue into the lead of the Grand Prix, but can he keep it? Is Kian going to make a lunge? No, he's not, as he nearly takes the back of that Ferrari into turn 3. But this is lap 21, and we've had an insane amount of battles as Kian comes back on the outside. Has he made it work? There's a bit of contact and Bill shuffling around, but Kian takes back the lead. Absolute madness from our drivers, but this is turning out to be an amazing race as we see his teammate Kavudi off the track again. Kavudi was fighting for the win, was leading, and is now actually getting lapped by the battle that he was in. As you can see, Rogue right on the back. You can see Rogue and Kian in the pits. This is going to be crucial. Who's going to come out first? Who's going to get a better pit stop? What about Rich? Rich will stay out. There's another driver off the track, and that's Jordan. So many drivers losing the car. This is Speed Red Matt getting out of the pits, and the order still seeming to be the same. Kian from Rogue to Speed Red Matt. The question is, they've got the Mercedes and a few other cars coming at them. Is this going to hurt Speed Red Matt? I would assume not. Salty Bear went for that undercut. You can see how much it's brought him closer to the front runners. But it's Kian ahead of Rogue, ahead of Speed Red Matt. But Rich essentially inherits the lead, but he will have to make a second pit stop. Those mediums will not go to the end. But will he box this lap? Who knows? Is he waiting for a safety car or a VSC? Could be a right time. As we see more shuffles in the grid, as Jordan has pitted and has option for medium tyres to the end of the Grand Prix. So if you're joining us now, we've had an insane amount of action from these 3 drivers, Kian, Rogue and Speed Red Matt. We've seen them recently pit, and that is why they're all going right to the end now. It's a crucial stint. It's not about where you start the race, it's about where you finish. As Kian has got an insane amount of pressure, but has managed to keep fighting back against Rogue and Speed Red Matt. But is Rogue fast enough? Has he got enough of a toe to send it into turn 3? No, he's not. He's a bit far back. Kian looking to get a better exit out of turn 4, turn 3. And is he safe? He is safe from Speed Red Matt, and Kian is safe from Rogue. But our drivers have been producing some stellar action, as we see a few shuffle in the grid, as we can see Ventino going to him, nearly losing the rear of that AlphaTauri. Of course, he is on old hard compound tyres. We see a Williams of Cam. He's had a very unlucky race today, Cam. Is he going to send one down? He's very close. Ventino switches to the outside, moves around, but it's not enough. Cam still behind Ventino, but Ventino really struggling on those hards. Ventino still stays ahead into turn 9 and turn 10. As we go, of course, Gong Hosner is catching up to this little train of cars. What about the leaders? Of course, we've got two battles going on at the same time. Cam, Ventino, more shuffles in the grid. What about Specialist and Jordan? They stay in the same position. What about the leaders? And Apex Rogue, as we were talking, Apex Rogue gets back ahead of Kian. And Speed Red Matt just behind. Insane amount of action going on. Rogue versus Kian versus Red Matt. But I can assure you, this battle is not over yet. As Kian goes a lot on the curbs. Surprisingly, did not get a penalty for the track limit warning there. But Rich decides to pit. So now Rogue will take back the lead of the Austrian Grand Prix on lap 25. Rogue in the lead. Kian P2 and Speed Red Matt in P3. But look how close Kian is to the back of that Ferrari. Catching him now, and they're going to go side by side yet again into turn 3. Does Rogue have to settle down for that? He will, but will Rogue get a better exit? Rogue never seems to get a good enough exit out of turn 3, but he still gets a good toe. He's going to have enough to send it down. He's going to send it, but contact! But they manage to still keep going, and there's no change in position, but just the slightest of contact. Nearly taking both drivers out, but this has turned out to be an insane battle for the lead. Red Matt just behind Rogue, who is just behind Kian, and none of these drivers are backing off. This could be anyone's race win. Rogue really gained a lot on that final corner, but he backs off. Of course, it is better to get that toe from turn 1 into turn 3. But unsurprisingly, yet again, he's got the DRS. He's going to send one down now. Rogue side by side with Kian. Kian has to back off there. Can Kian get his good exit? He does get a very good exit. He's got Red Matt close behind, but he's going to send one down now. He's going to send it down on the outside. Later braking. Is that enough? But Rogue gets a better exit. No, he doesn't. Kian takes the lead once again. I don't know how many times I've said it, but this has turned out to be incredible from our drivers. Kian, Rogue, and Speed Red Matt all changing positions lap after lap. But Kian really putting a show, putting under that pressure. Question is, Speed Red Matt has stayed with these front two runners, but he hasn't really made too much of an impact. Of course, Rogue does get that DRS. Rogue sliding around. Is this now a chance for Speed Red Matt? But you can see how much faster Rogue is, because he's got that toe on Kian. He's going to send one later braking from Kian, so Kian will stay ahead. Who gets a better exit? Rogue constantly struggles out turn 3. What about Red Matt? Red Matt catching him. Will Rogue send one down? No, he won't. Rogue has to stay back for this time, as he had a poor exit out turn 1. But Speed Red Matt seems to stay with these two drivers. However, he's not made any overtakes since that last pit stop. So could this all be a strategic game? Is he saving those tyres? As you see a spinner from Gonhoffner, I believe, or apologies, I believe that could be Salty Bear. It is Salty Bear as he's dropped down massively to Speed Red Map. So many drivers getting caught out by turn number 8. Kian has got the job once again to try and defend. He sticks to the outside. What is that going to be? Is it going to be enough? Oh, nearly touch each other. They nearly knock the front wing off. But does that give Speed Redman a bit more confidence now? He's stuck in a bit of a dilemma right now, Speed Redman. He's got DRS, but Rogue does too. So he doesn't get enough straight line speed as Rogue gets it from Kian. He needs to get through one of the drivers if he wants to inherit the lead. But there is still 9 laps to go, including this one as Rogue touching the curves, getting the car a little bit unsettled. But these mediums will easily go to the end of the Grand Prix. So I assume all our drivers, as you can see, and that is very crucial indeed, as Rogue has picked up a 3-second time penalty. In this case, this is extremely crucial as Kian and Redman don't have any penalties. So this is really hurting Rogue. But Rogue's not going to care about it. He's going to focus on getting ahead of Kian, which he does beautifully. Locks up a bit, but look at this. Kian gets an amazing switchback on Rogue, and that's enough to take back the lead. But what about Rogue? Does Rogue have enough straight line speed? No, he doesn't. Has to settle for P2. There's a little lock up there from the inside tyre. But Speed Redman just seeing all of this battling going on. But he's going to be more encouraged by that 3-second time penalty that Rogue has picked up from the previous lap. But once again, we go into another lap. We go into turn 9 and turn 10 with these 3 drivers battling it out for the lead. This is what we love to see at One Hub. Just slightly behind Kian. But look at this, Rogue gets an amazing exit. Kian's got nothing to defend with. Rogue gonna go for the inside line. Can he swoop in? Where's Kian gonna go? Kian's gonna try and go on the outside. Not enough room there. It's Rogue sliding that Ferrari. It's not the first time we've seen it. Kian going to go on the outside. Can he make the outside work? No, he can't, but he's gonna go for a move. He's side by side into turn 4. This is insane. Who's going to come out ahead? Kian has to back off. And for the first time going into turn 6 and 7, Rogue takes back the lead. Rogue has not had the lead into turn 6, 7, 8 and 9 and 10 in a long time. But he does now, and does this show that he's got way more pace than Kian. Can he pull away? As he goes very wide, he's already got a penalty. Very risky. Nearly picking up a track limit warning from there. He's got Kian right in his wing mirrors with Speed Red Map behind. DRS flap wide open now. This is anyone's race win. Kian looks to close in, but not enough. What about Speed Red Map now? Kian sends a late one. Speed Red Map looking at this. Rogue getting a horrible traction again. This is turning out to be one of the best battles we've had this season. But Rogue has to settle down, and Kian takes back the lead of the Grand Prix. But this could all be playing a part to Speed Red Map, as Rogue and Kian have been using up their mediums a lot more than Red Map has. So could this be a last few lap sprint for Speed Red Map, as he has saved a lot of tyres? Kian now starts lap 32. 5 laps to go, including this one. This is anyone's race win at this stage, as a few drivers go off, especially Rogue. Rogue's got to be extremely careful. He's got that penalty. Rogue's going to send one now. He's got a lot more head. He's got a lot more of a gap, but Kian kind of just send it down. Oh, and is that a spin? Rogue has spun. Kian had to take evasive action. Kian has dropped back. Speed Redmat takes the lead of the race. I can't believe it. Rogue has been struggling so much out of turn 3. You've seen it in the battles. And unfortunately, he has dropped back. And he's now in P3. And he's away from this battle. He had that 3-second time penalty as well as we see Kian. Kian has spun. What is going on? Are these medium tyres dropping off for Rogue and Kian? With all this battling, has it reached the end? They're only 9 laps old. They can go a lot longer than this. But has all that battling completely ruined their medium compound tyres? As you can see them struggle into turn 10. Rogue now ahead. Once again, a shuffle for the podium places. But this has played into the hands of Speed Red Map beautifully. He's waited, he's been patient, he's waited for the errors and mistakes to come to Kian and Rogue. And it's now gone to Red Map to take back the lead of the Grand Prix. He did start on pole position. And as it stands, he is leading the Grand Prix. Rogue could, of course, still stay on this podium. He does have a penalty, but so does the car behind a Salty Bet. But Salty Bet's actually got Kian right in his wing mirrors. So, the question is, what is the penalty status? 3 seconds for both Kian, for both Salty Bet and Rogue. So Kian, Apex, Rogue, and Speed Redman could yet again all be on the podium places. Speed Redman takes a 3-second time penalty that will affect his race, but if he stays the way he is, he will be unbothered by that because 2 cars behind him, 5 seconds down, and both have a 3-second penalty already. Question is, what about Kian though? Kian's going to want to make a move. He is going to make a move. That's an important move because the car head does have that penalty, and he needs to catch up to Rogue and potentially Red Map, but he's got a few laps to do. He's got 3 laps as we've got Thomas. Thomas is out of the Grand Prix with 3 laps to go. Absolute heartbreak. As you can see, the car lying there, lost the rear out of turn 1. Absolute heartbreak for Thomas as his teammate went past him now. But Kian on the charge. He's got to catch up 2 seconds if he wants to be within penalty range of Apex Rogue. But of course, that is if Kian does not get any more warnings or doesn't get a penalty. Extremely crucial. Kian going wide, and there we see Kian gets that penalty. No front end in that McLaren. Cannot turn it enough into turn 1. But as you can see there, actually, out of nowhere, Salty Bet sent one, but an amazing launch from Kian. Kian having really good traction out of turn 3. But it's not over yet now. The battle for the podium, they've both got the same penalty, so this is the battle for the podium. Salty Bet comes back to take P3. Absolute madness. But this has turned out to be an absolute thriller of a race. The closest battle is between Salty Bet and Kian, and of course Rich and Dax. Very close as we see Speed Redman did start the final lap of the Austrian Grand Prix. But there are lots of battles going on. One with Salty Bet and Kian, one with Rich and Dax. And more towards the field, towards the bottom of the field. So much going on this final lap of the Austrian Grand Prix. Speed Redman comfortably ahead. Salty Bet still ahead into turn 3. Loses a bit of the rear. He's got Kian right behind him. Does Kian need to make the lunge? Does he want to make that lunge? He's going to make the lunge. Will it stick? Side by side. Contact on the arrow. No! Kian and Salty Bet have crashed. But Salty Bet's got no wing. He's got 5 corners to go and he's got no wing. But Dax has as well made the move on Rich. This has turned to disaster for Kian and Salty Bear. As you see, Speed Red Matt takes the win of the Austrian Grand Prix. But who's going to be ahead? Dax looks to be comfortably ahead to take P3. But an absolute shocker of a race. Absolutely insane. Salty Bear finishes P5. But Kian, disappointment. P6, could have had a win, could have had a podium. But it's only good enough for P6. As we see the last of the finishing runners, Gam, P9, he's been struggling through the race. He's had spins, but he's managed to come back to get points. I'm sure he would be at least relieved to get a few points for both himself and the team. He's got Aero Specialist crossing the line. And wow, oh wow. What an absolute stunner of a race. And unsurprisingly, Salty Bear, driver of the day, has come back from the bottom of the field. That last lap incident caused him to be off the podium. A shame. But it's a good result, as you see our winner, Speed Red Matt. Top step on the podium. He waited patiently, he played the smarter game, and it has turned out well for him. A huge congrats to both our podium drivers and everyone else. So, your winner for the Austrian Grand Prix, Speed Red Matt, has taken another victory. Rogue right behind him with Dax in P3, Rich P4 with Salty Bear P5, Kian P6. Unfortunate last lap crash cost him to be off the podium. Going off then P7 with Ventino in P8, Cam K in P9 with ERT Jordan finishing the points position. Aero Specialist and ERT as well, last two runners, Kavudi, Okeki, Willu, Keys and KPP all not finishing this Grand Prix. But an absolute stellar of a race from our drivers. And my two drivers of the day definitely go to Speed Red Matt. And, of course, going to Dax. Dax, my question for Speed Red Matt was, did you save those tires? Did you play the smarter game? And did you know what you were doing? Did you know that this was a better opportunity and a better chance to stay back and wait? And is that why we saw you drop off a bit? And my second driver of the day to Dax, did you know that a podium was in sight? Because there was a bit of struggles in quali, but my main question for Dax is, did you believe that this was possible, and do you think that these things can happen again? Well, that has been an insane ending to the Austrian Grand Prix. I hope you all enjoyed it as much as I did, but unfortunately that is the end of the Grand Prix. Hopefully you've had insane amount of action to watch. I'm James, we are One Hub Racing. We are brought to you by Freedom Racing, Elite Racing Team and Next Level Racing, and of course our premium paid drivers. But thank you very much for joining me, and I can't wait to get into the next round next week. Thank you very much, and goodbye.